Chapter 1. Tonight, Dr. Morgan Rothschild on why aliens are big business. The Harvard Editorial, May 1st, 11458 CTD. Mothers and daughters. When I think of that phrase, I think of the word complex. Mum prods me to update my diary, but doesn't want me to include her name or anything related to her in it. She wants to remain anonymous, almost like an extra in my life that isn't given credit. Odd, considering her lengthy career as a leading lady. Well, whatever her reasons for wanting to remain uncredited, she's going to have to step back into the limelight for this one. I guess it was early April 11458 CTD, Chalkis's December, when Tom left to attend Kenshi's graduation ceremonies at Unitorium. Meaning Spaulding Recovery was officially on hiatus for about 8 months. I was in the office, finishing up some last-minute paperwork and cleaning out the refrigerator before putting the office SC on standby, and wondering what I was going to get Jask for Colonial Day, because I wasn't going to be here next week. When I told Mum about Tom's trip and closing the office, I thought she would make me spend a few weeks at the villa with her. Maybe force me to attend some art gallery parties, or play middlewoman between her and her agent while arranging autograph signings at celebrity events. But that's not what she did. Instead, she booked a 6-month VIP vacation package aboard a 5-star luxury liner. I was pretty proud of myself. I listened to her tell me her plans, over a video call without choking on my broccoli salad or changing my expression. To be honest, I don't think my neurons were firing fast enough to make any sort of emotional outburst. It had been a complete surprise, and Mum just kept talking while my brain tried to catch up. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to spend time with her. But 6 months? In a ship's cabin? That's a long time. In retrospect, I supposed I could have made some excuse or simply told her no. But this was a dream opportunity for her. After all, I had hired on with Tom under the aspirations of being planetside for her more often. And so far, I had spent a lot of time out in the black. Almost as much time as I had with Colonial Survey and the Chalkis Rescue Patrol. And of course, a daughter must obey her mother. So, Tom left yesterday, today I was closing the office, and tomorrow I would take a shuttle and meet Mum on Sky Harbour for an adventure of a lifetime. That's literally what the brochure said. I sent messages to 3 of the insurance companies that kept us on their shortlist to track down lost ships, informing them of our closure. Then I double-checked with the building's SC to make sure management knew to hold our packages. Tom had paid the lease up until the end of the year, so I didn't have to think about that. Miscellaneous billing would be forwarded to my personal link. I could make payments from a luxury liner dinner table just as well as I could from my office desk. By 10 a.m. I was done. Or would have been. I wasn't in a hurry. So, I took breaks and browsed several net stalls for Jask's Colonial Day gift, and read some interesting articles on the next generation of Newtonian drives, which somehow led me to a documentary on a new species of geese found on the southern continent. Around 2, I had found the perfect gift for Jask, and it was waiting for me to pick up at a boutique in the building's lobby. I was caught up in all the net mail and minutiae associated with closing the office, so I watered the ficus in the conference room, then told it I was sorry it was going to die, and grabbed my coat and left. I was walking to the building entrance, Jask's gift-wrapped present in hand, when Mum called. She had left a message that morning when I was on my way to the office, just wanting to make sure that I was packed, but I hadn't returned her call. Now she was calling me again. When I tapped my link and her head and shoulders appeared in front of me, I smiled and started to say hello, but she just started talking. "B, I left a message this morning," she said, somewhere between worry and irritation. "Mum, I've been busy." "Are you packed?" "All packed and ready, Mum." "Good," she replied, nodding. "What did you pack?" I sighed. "Mom, please." She blinked, then shook her head. "Never mind. The ship will have a decent clothing boutique. We'll go there just as soon as we board. We can just check in with the tourist agent and then—" "Mom," I said, with a little more force than I intended, "I'm packed and ready." "You said that, B. I'm not deaf." She frowned, then asked, "What time is your shuttle scheduled?" "Mom!" It went like that for half a block before she was satisfied that things were, at least mostly, going like she wanted. She ended the call with a reminder that the ship would leave exactly at the time the itinerary she had forwarded to me said it would. I wanted to tell her that docking and departure times were dependent upon a number of conditions that Sky Harbour managed, but thought better of it and told her I would see her tomorrow on time. Winter in Chalkis City is pretty. I know, strange for an island girl to say, and I don't like the cold. But there is something about the snow, the city being blanketed in white with the office buildings lit up, that I find remarkable. Maybe it's because I've lived here for so long. At least between trips out in the black. In the last 20 years, I spent more time here than in the Pearls. Winter back in Okoya, where the family villa sat on the edge of the beach, was a crisp 85 degrees. At night, Mum might even wear a shawl over her shoulders when she went outside to have tea and watch the waves in the moonlight. I stood in line at my favourite coffee stand, ordered a pumpkin spice mocha, and headed across the street to the apartment building's entrance. When I walked inside my apartment, I was wondering if liking the snow in the city meant that I was somehow drifting further away from the Pearls, the family villa, home. I kicked off my fairy boots and put my coat on the rack beside the door, then took my mocha and Jask's gift to the bedroom and set them on the nightstand and plopped down in the bed. When I was young, I was closer to Dad than I was to Mum. After he passed, Mum was heartbroken. So I left Colonial Survey and came home to be with her. Of course, I was heartbroken too, and I couldn't just stay around the villa. I was considering applying for the rescue patrol, but after months of isolation, Mum suddenly snapped out of her fugue and started going to art shows and social gatherings and dragging me along with her. She was keeping herself busy, keeping her mind off Dad's death. I couldn't do it with her. Her busy wasn't my busy. So I went through with my application for the rescue patrol. I would still be close if she needed me, and I would be planetside more often, but I was back in space, where I wanted to be. My kind of busy. When I made lieutenant and was piloting my own patrol ship, I was spending more time out in space than I was on the planet. Making circles around Chalkis' debris field and watching for mining accidents, or just parking near Sky Harbour's traffic lanes and watching my comms and LIDAR for weeks at a time. It wasn't deep space trips or mapping star systems like my job with Colonial Survey, but I liked it. Mum didn't. I understood her feelings and so started looking for another job. A middle ground that would keep me in space, but not too long. When I hired on with Tom, it had been that way. A month here and there, but mostly I was flying a desk as his assistant at the office. It's not like that anymore. Tom is a reputable businessman with a growing list of contacts, and I'm a good pilot. It was a match made in heaven, and I find myself spending the better part of the year in Newtonian space, then popping out into the black to float for days or weeks looking for something somebody lost and once found. I spend more and more time away from Mom and home. It wasn't supposed to be that way. So, was I drifting away? I didn't like the answer to that question, and that's the real reason I agreed to Mum's vacation plans. I drank my mocha and watched a comedy that Mum made a cameo in. It was a new serial, created within the last year, and I was surprised that she agreed to the 20 seconds of the episode that she appeared in it. When she was active, she had been a stickler for features only, and once she achieved celebrity status, it was big-budget, famous director features only. Other than a few local stage performances and appearances at acting schools, this was her first time behind a camera in about 25 years. Nowadays, most of her energy and talent was funneled into painting, and the rest of it was spent globe-hopping to art shows, charity events, and arguing with Okoye's city council about local tourism. I'm sure the mayor would rather she go back into vid work, preferably off-planet. I sighed. My mother. I ordered in, and ate chowkish shrimp and fried rice, with chopsticks, while I leaned against the balcony doorway and stared through the glass at the city swaddled in its white blanket of snow. What's a girl like me doing in a place like this? I asked myself, then put the rest of the shrimp and rice in the refrigerator, then went to bed. 3 hours later, I found myself staring up at the ceiling in the dark. My link was chirping softly, but it was the apartment SC calling my name that woke me up. B, the SC said. It's a message from Mr. Pencrest. William. The override on my link for his messages was on, but the notification volume was low. The apartment SC was monitoring my calls and messages, and realised the conflicting arrangement and decided to wake me. I blinked and said, "Thank you," as I reached for my link on the nightstand. It was a text-only message. I knew he was on his way back to Chalkis, but he was still pretty far out, and the bill for even just a text message would have been, well, astronomical. A video or even audio message would have been blatant robbery on the part of those subsidized communications companies that maintained convoys out on the fringes, where he was making his delivery run. But still, it would have been nice to see his face or hear his voice. The last time we had spoken in person was almost 4 years ago, when we broke up and I parted ways. I went to Delta Sagan on a job that Tom took with the Asimov Institute, and William went to some place beyond the baths of the Western Stars. A colony world, really far out. Like, there be dragons, far out, to deliver machine parts. I read. Yes, he was on his way back, and still about 18 to 20 months out from Chalkis. Not for the first time, I thought how crazy we both had been to think that it could work between us. We were gone. All the time. When he was planet-side, I was out there in the black searching for needles in solar system-sized haystacks. Or it was the reverse. He was on a long-haul trip to some place that was just recently added to the map while I was playing desk pilot in the office. It couldn't work. Yet, here we were, still exchanging messages over the light years about good food, good theatres around Chalkis City, and how he would love to one day go camping with me out on the nature preserve near his hometown. I don't know what we were doing. As a deep space pilot, time was subjective for me. I could start reading a book, set it aside in my link queue for 6 months, and then pick it up again. Once, I started doing a pencil sketch at my desk in the office. Sort of a scene from my bedroom window back at the villa, just to see if I had any artistic skills like Mum. Every time I had to go out in the black, I just left it on my desk, and then when I got back I would doodle on it some more. It took 5 years to complete it. Any pilot can work and live like that. It's part of the mental gymnastics of the job. Time doesn't mean much. But relationships, at least for me, are different.